StreamYard, baby. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. We need subscribers. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Going Over podcast. I am your co-host, your neighborhood-friendly coach, trainer, promoter, 43-year-old professional wrestler, Zack Primetime Reeb, and I'm joined alongside my podcast partner, the 7-foot wrecking ball, Paul Isadora. Paul, you have now entered the battlefield.
Oh, the battlefield. Oh, I wasn't even prepared for a battle. But I was looking at this this episode 42 that I've got up here on my screen, and it was reminiscing. What is your favorite athlete number 42?
Jackie Robinson.
I was thinking that too. I thought maybe you might go like a Dave Stewart. No, Dave Stewart wasn't. He was 34. I was thinking like, who was 42 on the A's?
Dave Stewart, man.
What? No, I think it was Dave Henderson.
Dave Stewart, man. I don't know who had the worst voice for intimidating black men. Was it Dave Stewart after he threw that no-hitter against the Toronto Blue Jays? Or was it Mike Tyson? Mike Tyson over here. I'll have sex with all your wives every single day. Enjoy.
I don't know, man. But man, 42. This is the podcast after we got the opportunity to watch WrestleMania, and it's just I've seen so many people posting about what they thought about it, you know, what their feeling was, crying, bitching, complaining. Also, seen a lot of people taking photos with people that they know, right? They cross paths with at some point, so they take a photo of them, and I feel like this is the commonplace, right? Somebody makes it, gets signed. And next thing you know, everybody's going, oh, hey, this is the photo of this guy and me, back in the day, and blah blah blah. Everybody wants to put their photos up of somebody that they knew, and I know that definitely happened with Jacob Fatu. You know, everybody was like, so pumped. And I think obviously I'm pumped as well, but.
Congratulations, Jacob
Fatu. Yeah, of course. You want to send a shout out to him and all that stuff, but I think it's one of those things. It's like it's great, man. So somebody that did something special. So I think that's fantastic. But I do think it's definitely. I heard the term clout chasing, right? Somebody wants to go, oh, you know what? I know this guy, and here's a photo of me and him together.
I've spent a lot of time at the house. I've spent a lot of time in bars. I've spent a lot of time on the outside, passed out on the side of bars with Mr. Oos himself, and a lot of time training. Congratulations to him, man. Congratulations to everybody. I enjoyed both nights. John Cena told us you get nothing. I was wrong on here. I was talking about entrances last time, and I said, you know what? I said, I know my boy John is going to go out there and he's going to give us an amazing entrance at WrestleMania. No, he didn't. Well, he did, because they blacked everything out. It happened on Monday Night Raw tonight, and he gave us nothing. He gave us some double axe handles. They gave us Travis Scott. They didn't give us The Rock. He really did not give us anything. But I wanted to focus this podcast, Paul. I wanted to focus this one because this one means a lot to me. This one means a whole lot to me. And the finish of night one. And I remember telling you, and I remember telling anybody who would listen, I wrestled Alex Ace at your show, and I said, hey, when you're 7 feet fucking tall, when you step over the top rope, I'm going to kick this 1/8-inch cable wrapped in hose into your nuts. And that's going to be, you're going to sell the shit out of this. And that's what you're going to sell for me. You're going to build up after that. But this is my offense that I'm going to get. This is where you're selling. And he did not. And I've seen it so many times in indie wrestling. I saw a match where they kicked the middle rope into a guy's nuts and then went to hit him with a Randy Orton DDT from the ropes because they wanted to. Totally put in the wrong place. And I wanted to talk about the low blow. Here is Paul Heyman, who is probably getting close to a hospital bed or a deathbed because he's so out of shape. He's the best. He's the greatest. He's the best on the mic. He's unbelievable. Nothing but good things to say, but he's not in the best physical condition. And here's this manager that low blowed two, not one, but two of the biggest stars in professional wrestling, low blowed them. They got hit with a couple chair shots to the back. And damn it, thank you, Paul Heyman. Thank you, CM Punk. Thank you, Seth Rollins. Thank you, Roman Reigns. Thank you guys for bringing – what a finish, man. He got a reaction out of going to grab the chair. He slid the chair into Punk. It got the reaction from Roman. He turned on him. Handed the chair to his tribal chief on both knees. Now there's a new reaction. Now Rollins is coming up, and it's an old Shield moment where Rollins had hit Roman. I think it was just beautiful. But just damn it, thank you guys for the low blow is such a vital, it's such a big move in wrestling, man. It needs to be sold properly. I rambled here just a little bit just for the intro. Your thoughts, Mr. Isadora?
Well, it was right after this happened, right? So I was busy on Saturday. So I ended up watching it like, after it didn't reset till midnight. So I started watching it a little bit. Then I fell asleep. Then I was like, all right, first thing Sunday morning, I'm going to get up. We did our Easter stuff. And I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to put this thing on. I'm going to start watching it. So we get to that point, and when that match happens, my daughters are here, and I'm explaining to them about how the significance of that is. We're talking about somebody getting kicked in the nuts or getting hit in the nuts or whatever. And we made the reference to UFC, right? We talked about UFC. Somebody gets kicked in the cup, right? They're protected. They have a cup on, right? They're wearing protective gear in the UFC. Athletic supporter, jock strap, whatever you want to call it, with a protective plastic cup in there, like we used to wear for baseball, right? Don't want your little kid to get, hit in the nuts, right? So, and I was just trying to get across to them that feeling, right? It's like you get hit in the nuts. It's like that subtle, like, it's in the pit of your stomach. Like, it's just like, it's an undescribable pain, right? That you're in. And we were talking about UFC, and I was saying, giving them the example, UFC fighters, they get hit in the nuts. They get 5 minutes, right, to try to recover. So 5 minutes to recover. That gives you a little bit of insight on what type of damage, what, like getting hit in the nuts, what that can do to you, how much pain you're in, it's difficult to function, right? You're not going to get back into a competitive environment for 5 minutes. They allow you that to recuperate. So, that happening just kind of, I just feel like it was this great storytelling, right? It's like so realistic, and then we even took it a step further and said, there's sometimes a guy gets hit in the nuts, they go 5 minutes, and the guy can't continue even after 5 minutes. So it's like, on top of that, just that much more pain and agony that this type of thing, getting hit in the nuts, as simplistic as it sounds, how much pain and agony that can cause to a human being, right? So seeing that plays out into what ends up being the finish of the main event here of the first night. And and I feel like we've talked about it so many times, right? We even watched our match, and I thought like I didn't sell it enough, right? And you talked about the Alex Ace match, and then you talk about this other match. A guy gets kicked in the nuts, and then there's no registering, no callback to it, nothing like that. It's just, oh, let's go to the next spot, right? But in this main event, they sell it so well, right? It leads right into the finish, right? There's nothing extra needed, and I don't know how many times I've heard people talk about that. It's like you give them a hit to the nuts, man. You don't have to roll the guy up and pull the tights. You don't have to do extra stuff after that. That should be enough to get the victory, right? A guy should be in that much pain that you can potentially get the victory just off of that alone. So
For sure.
yeah.
So
So I mean, right.
It's a false. It could be utilized as a false. And
right.
That's the beauty of this, right? You were talking about you get kicked in the nuts. It just, as a man, it completely debilitates us. What I loved about Roman's cell was he squeezed his legs tight around Paul's hands. Paul had to like jerk him off side to side just to rip his own hand out of there. And the thing about it is this: you talked about UFC. If you don't recover in that 5 minutes or whatever that allotted time is, it could be a DQ. It could lead to a potential title change in a real fight. It could a man could be disqualified if this person cannot recover. And they're wearing cups too.
Right.
Women wear the big pancake cups in baseball when they're catching. And now, men wear them. And for years when I played Little League, we wore the cups. And now you're wearing a cup in every sport. They make you wear the jock strap and they make you tuck the cup in. It's like you just have to get used to doing that nowadays. There's this terrible glow on me. I apologize to everybody, but the nut shot, man. How many times can we go back? Tommy Dreamer got hit in the nuts by a Singapore cane in ECW, and it's a touted story. It busted his nut. They had to take him to the hospital, the fucking emergency room, and drain fluid out of his nut. He could have lost one of his nuts. Sometimes if I sit wrong on the corner of the couch getting up, I feel like I'm twisting my nuts, like my left nut is being rotated around to where my right nut would be, and now my right nut is my left nut. And it's an uncomfortable feeling. Sack tapping is an uncomfortable feeling. We would run around in school. We still do it to this day. I was chasing Rick Luxury around a East Bay Pro locker room, and there's a picture of us both holding our hands over because we were sack tapping each other. And we weren't doing it hard. To be honest with you, go ahead and punch me in the nuts. Don't sack tap me. Don't tap me lightly because it hurts, man. It hurts getting hit in the nuts. And it was just so great to see a finish. Everyone's calling it one of the greatest matches. It's a three-way. They built the story great. But Paul Heyman was all about CM Punk and Roman Reigns' nuts on the top of his right forearm. Paul got a whole lot of nuts that day. And in turn, 2 nut shots. And there was a couple chair shots in the end. And both these guys sold it well into these guys leaving the arena. So for you young guys out there, a nut shot is not a cutoff. It's not a cutoff. It's not something you do behind the referee's back to take advantage of the match either. It is something that you do near the end of the contest to put somebody away. And just that alone can be enough at times.
Absolutely. And I even think about, as we're talking about this, I'm thinking about the different scenarios that this could also play into. This could be the guys up on top, getting on to the top rope, and you hit them with the spread the legs.
The
guy
strut.
drops the nuts onto the turnbuckle, right? And in most cases, it's just the steel turnbuckle. some people on their ring will put like a, you know, pipe insulation over that. So there's a little bit of padding on there. But for the most part, it's either completely exposed steel or it's dressed up with some sort of fabric over it. So it's the same color as the turnbuckle pads or whatever. But regardless, I'm thinking about like that. You could use
Tighten your butt
that
cheeks.
as the go home, right? That could
Tighten
be
your
the
butt.
go home right there. You know, drop your
That
drop your nuts on that. Yeah.
the rope getting thrown off the top rope, rocket launcher style,
Yeah.
being picked up like a atomic drop and ran your nuts into the pole, being
Sure.
picked up like that and put over the guardrail, the barrier. There's all kinds of different ways to use a man's nuts. We were at the last show, Annabelle low blowed Manny, and Manny sold a great nut shot. And, Christian hit that curb stomp, and Manny's selling dead beautifully. And then Brandon Nash jumped on him and started clubbing him. And I said, hey, you're fucking a dead horse right now. You know what I mean? The horse is dead. No need to fuck it. It's already a dead horse. You're hitting him while he's already putting this guy's move over. And in turn, that makes the guy's move look weak because you're killing his move. But there was that low blow from a small petite girl that took this 260-pound man and dropped him down to where they could take full advantage of him at that point. There's a point in a nutshot. I always said, and I've done it twice now in my career in matches with Sin, we make jokes about when I hit him. I said, I know how to beat the monster. I know how to beat the nightmare. Because when I low blow him, I can feel his sack just spread over my arm. And every time I do it, he goes, oh! And it's a real sell because he's got big nuts. You know what I mean? And if that can take that man down, that can take anybody down. And I go back to the ace thing, man. It was like, dude, I kicked the rope into your nuts. And he was just stood on it. He stayed on his knees, not really registering any punches or anything like that. But I wanted him to go down to the ground because that's where he's at his lowest. He's now a 7-foot guy's now laying on the ground. We want to show him 2 knees, 1 foot down, 1 knee, hunched over, all 7 feet. Oh no, that's the image we're selling here, And that was with you too. I made you ride that rope like a little pony because I did the same thing to you in our match. You stepped over, I kicked it into your nuts, and then I started shaking it. And boy, did you put on quite a sell. It reminded me of that little horse that's outside the old grocery store.
The grocery store, yeah.
7-foot big Paul was just, hello, everybody. I'm riding. I'm over here just. But you got to sell it, man. It was a beautiful thing. So for those guys out there, man, sell your nuts. Sell your nuts.
Exactly. It's right. It's hard to say anything more. Like I feel like it's just we've covered this. Now I think we're starting to beat a dead horse with that. But
you don't want to get an hour out of selling your nuts?
I don't know, man.
We've almost got
fantastic.
20.
Right, I see that. It would be fantastic to do that, but yeah, there's a couple other things that are on that first card. I'm seeing just kind of everything blends together when you watch like so many hours of wrestling over a two-day period. You were talking to me yesterday about that you were watching day one and hours and hours and hours, and then you went to bed and you get up and you watch Stand and Deliver, right? And then that kind of bleeds into the pre-show that leads into day number 2. So I'm just trying to keep everything straight. But you got Jey Uso and you got Gunther as well.
Loved it. I loved it.
Right. Like what type of things did you like about that match? I'm thinking like probably simplicity, right?
Yeah, well, what I really loved was that Gunther throws those hard chops, And at the end, Jay was like, okay, this is it. Title's on the line. Everyone he hit him with, he would sell it, but he was calling for more. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I really enjoyed that. I did not enjoy the finish though. And the reason I didn't enjoy the finish was I felt Gunther tapped out too quick. I felt Jay didn't get as big a he got the initial pop when they announced his name and he held the belt up and started doing this, but he didn't get the pop because nobody oh, excuse me, nobody expected him to win by submission, so it kind of killed the pop a little bit, I felt. But then I tuned in tonight just as a throw off of that, and Gunther's choking out Pat McAfee. He got a hold of Michael Cole. The fans are chanting, "You tapped out." Jay came out. Sammy came out and gave him a thanks, and they did this. And I thought Sammy was going to turn on him, so I'm hoping that happens. I'm hoping that we get to see Sami Zayn as a villainous man versus babyface Jey Uso for the world championship. A lot of interesting things happened on Raw. So with that first match, I just felt like the tap out. I felt like he should have pinned him because that's what the audience expected. It was unexpected, but I felt like opening match of WrestleMania could have got a bigger pop from a cover.
Sure. And I had the opposite mindset. I was thinking like that he's protecting that type of finish because it's his finish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's selling how devastating that is, right? You can get choked out just like that, you know.
Good
So
point.
I had the opposite. I thought he tapped out quick, and I was like, okay, that goes back to a lot of times me talking about in the older days where you had the UFC pay per view on a Saturday and then a WWE pay per view on a Sunday, right? And I always try to get people to understand like people are seeing those two events back to back, so they're looking so much closer at pro wrestling to go, oh, that's phony, because last night a guy was in a rear naked choke and he got tapped out in 5 seconds because you don't want to go to sleep, or the guy's got it locked in right. I'm not getting out of this, so I might as well tap out, right? Save a little bit of face, because the next night on the WWE product, it's going to be kind of like you're saying, like somebody's going to be in that hold for a little bit longer, and then there's that creates that the questioning, right? The lack of reality of pro wrestling that we wanted to kind of hold on to a little bit more. So I definitely like the tapping out quickly, just as a way to say this is a devastating submission move to be in. So I better tap out quickly. So that, I don't know.
On
Two
that
different
side of
schools
the
of thought.
coin, on that side of the
Right.
coin, you're 100% right. I agree with you. What I was saying is it took a little bit for the audience to respond, so the
Sure.
immediate pop didn't hit, and
Right.
you have to think you're in a stadium.
Of
You know what I
course.
mean?
Yeah.
So there's 60,000+ people, and the reaction time that's going to make it all the way up to the nosebleed section, and then whatever you do, you have to listen for an initial 5 to 6 seconds because that's how long it's going to take to hear the reaction of it. So that was you're 100% right about that. He tapped out to his own finishing move. It legitimizes what it is. So I'm not
Right.
arguing with you.
And how
I'm
dangerous
not
it is,
arguing
right?
that point.
Of course. Yeah. So another one, obviously, we kind of already talked a little bit about everyone that we saw from NorCal. So proud of Jacob Fatu beating LA Knight for the U.S. title.
He was
But
gassed.
he was gassed.
He was gassed.
Blown the fuck up, yes. But, you know, obviously, when you see that Jacob Fatu got signed and just how they're just pushing him to the moon immediately, right? He's just this killer. You know, so it's cool to see somebody that you know, somebody that you've been on shows with, somebody you've been to the bar with, all these like great memories pop up in your head, times you've spent with them. But what did you think overall of that match?
I thought it was cool that Solo came out and then Solo went back. And that's when I knew. I was like, oh, they're putting this motherfucker over tonight, right? Like, he's going to get a clean win. When like the fans like to say, yeah. They like to say LA Knight, yeah. But here's how I'm going to tell you when you know you're over. When you do a moonsault and the guy counters in midair and hits you with the offensive move, and 60,000 people come to their feet and start chanting fa two, and you didn't do the offensive move. You got caught. And the guy who hit the fucking counter, they're chanting the guy who was hit with the move's name. You're fucking over, man. The dude's over. He's a good dude. He's over. I'm very interested. I watch Raw. I don't watch SmackDown because I don't have cable. So I'm very interested to go to Facebook and Instagram and see the clips and follow what's going to happen with Jacob Fatu. But no doubt in my mind with the way they brought him in, no doubt with who he is and his athleticism. And now he's getting to talk and now he's getting over with the fans. He's going to be the champion one day. No doubt in my mind. He will be. And even if it's just the world champion, he's going to be a champion one day. But just, you're so over that you get hit with a move and they chant your fucking name. That's insane to me. That's how you know, right? That's how you know. Not just, they always say go stand in the middle of the ring and find out if you're over. Well, do a moonsault and let some guy hit you with a super kick or a cutter and he's the baby face and they chant your name, you're fucking over.
Right. And so we talked a couple episodes ago about the things that separate, one person from the rest or make you irreplaceable. And I just, every time I see that, like the springboard into the moonsault like that, like just the balance that it takes, you think about how big this guy is and how agile and doing these flippy things. But it's not doing flippy things just because I can do a flippy thing, right? It is so I crash down on you with a 285-pound moonsault, and you go, "Fuck! I bet that killed that guy," right? This isn't. We talk about the guys that can do the standing moonsault, and you're asking them, why do you do that? It's like, oh, because it looks cool and I can. It's like, but you're 140 pounds. If you jump up in the air and flip over backwards and land on top of me, you're not going to put a whole lot of, you're not going to squish me like Jacob will, hitting that moonsault like that. So it's always one of those things that I look at and go, wow, man, that's just, it's incredible. The type of coordination, balance, all that stuff that it takes to do those type of moves.
I'm having a problem today on the podcast.
Oh, I know. I can see it. You're all over the place. You're messing with the camera. You got your hand over the screen.
Hopefully this will be my final stop.
There it is. There it is.
Hopefully this will be my final stop, man. Yeah,
That's
Jacob's a really good athlete. He's stepped up a million times with what he's doing on the microphone. And most importantly, he's over, man. He's been in this business for a long time and it's runs in his family. And he waited to get there. If he wouldn't have had legal troubles, I mean, me and Marcus Mack used to talk about it all the time when we first laid eyes on this guy at an APW show. Was, dude, this guy's going. And it actually took the Triple H era to because Vince wasn't signing no man with a criminal past like that. He just wasn't happening because he couldn't travel internationally or whatever it was. But yeah, big ups to that guy, man. He had a great night, and I can't wait to see what's next. But there's a lot more. He's over. Cool mask he wore out too. Like, he's over.
Right. No kidding.
That's all just get over, guys. Get over. I'm about to shift back. This is getting really rough on me today. I might do a walk. Oh, there it goes. I don't know why this thing's spinning. production problems here on.
That's it. And you always talk so highly about your production value.
Oh, it's so high.
Right. I'm gonna get these cameras set up. I'm gonna get the shot 1, 2, and 3 dialed in. It'll be ready to rock and roll.
Well, once we get the subscribers up and we get going, we're gonna be it's gonna be a whole new ball game. I'm trying to figure out how to tighten this up. We're having a severe.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm crooked.
Yeah.
Am I crooked?
It looks. When you lean your head to the side.
So I look fine right now, is what you're saying.
It
I look
does.
fine, right?
It looks fine. Yeah, it looks all good.
So what? All right. So Jacob Fatu, what else on night? Oh, Tiffy time.
What was that?
Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that one.
I
Tiffany
remember.
Stratton, Charlotte Flair.
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Brutally honest. Charlotte Flair was going up, sandbagging, was going up like a sack of shit. She knocked one of Tiffany Stratton's veneers off of right out of her mouth. There was a huge bruise on her head. She looked lethargic. She looked outmatched by Tiffany Stratton. And I'm being 100% honest about that. And damn, I saw that look on the face of Tiffany. Great entrance, by the way. I believe, and there's always just different people, a lot of changing of the guard, a lot of new not a lot of new superstars were built, and I believe that we're going to see a lot of young blonde-haired, blue-eyed Barbie type women. She's really going to stretch pro wrestling, I feel, out to a whole new genre of women coming through. She's very athletic. You got to think about it. She's only been around for like 3 years. She's
Right.
never that girl never watched any professional wrestling. She was a gymnast, and most importantly, it's like she trained for a year because she went to the tryout. She wrestled in NXT for a year or so, and then she went to the main roster. It's her first year in the main roster. She's already the champion going in to defend the title against what they say is the greatest women's wrestler of all time. And the look on her face when she was sitting on that apron with a missing veneer, a chipped veneer, and a bruise on her head. She was holding that belt up. And there's a moment, and you young guys out there, there's a moment. Mine was against JJ Perez. There's a moment in your career where you look around, whether you're on the corner of the ring, you're in the ring, you're in a car going home, you're in the locker room, and you stop and you take a look and you go, I got this. Her moment was on that apron in front of that camera when it was over. I saw her. She had that belt, and she was just like, she was looking around at 60,000 people in that stadium, and I saw that look in her eye that said, yeah, I'm here, but I didn't know if I could do it.
Right.
I did, and I know I can do it now. That's the coolest part.
Well, and you've mentioned before that you don't know if you can do it until you get put into the spot where you need to, you have the opportunity to do it, right? So, and I think we all have those kind of the I have arrived moment where things are clicking and you go, you know what, I'm pretty damn good at this. I can be something in this industry. So for her to have that moment and be evident like that, where you can look at it and go, "Yep, right there, man." It just clicked in for her that she knows that she can handle the situation, and I think it's difficult to have the weight of holding the title on your shoulders, right? Because the expectation when you're the champ is that you're going to have the best match, right? People are paying money to see you. That's why you're the champ, right? You're the draw. So having the confidence to go, you know what, I can do this. I'm gonna excel at this. Those are those great things where you go, yeah, you know what, a great feeling, and hopefully it's something that she just continues to build on and continues to get better, because that there's only up from here, being in it so short of a time at this point. So, it's one of those things where you just can't wait to see where the ceiling is, because that there's a high ceiling right now.
Well, you don't know until you know, right?
Yep.
Until you get in that situation and you can make those mistakes. I don't know if I can wrestle in the main event. I tell guys this all the time. I didn't know I could wrestle in the main event, and I got in the main event, and I fucked up a bunch of times. And sometimes I got better as time went on, and now I can handle that position. It took me like 6 to 8 years before I could handle that situation, and it was being put and built and groomed in that situation to get there. And I always tell you guys, I say, it's easy for me now, but the hard part was getting to this point where it's become easy. And I'm sure Chupacabra and you and Ugly and Luster and Adam and Boyce and Rick and, just naming the local guys and Matt Carlos, I'm pretty sure those guys could tell you the same thing. So it's like, man, 26 years I've been doing this stuff. So it seems a lot easy. It seems easy to do it now, but it wasn't always easy. So it's not going to be, it's going to be hard getting to the point where it is easy, and you don't know until you know, man. So yeah, WrestleMania was, I enjoyed it. I even enjoyed the John Cena match, man. I enjoyed it because, like I was talking about earlier in the program, he said, you're not going to get nothing. I'm not going to give you nothing. You don't deserve it. And he gave him nothing. And we want to see more, because remember how pissed I was at the end of the Survivor Series, like the War Games match, because nothing happened and the babies went up, and I was like, this is fucking bullshit. And then good stuff started happening. So trust the process. Triple H wants to make sure we keep watching,
Right.
and we're gonna find all this stuff out. There's a reason why they've done everything. They've done an amazing job so far, and we don't give it all to us, and they sure the fuck didn't give it all to us.
Right. So we started off this episode, man, with the low blow, and then as I'm kind of scrolling through other matches on night one, you've got El Grand Americano beats Rey Fenix.
That was a good match.
It was a good fucking match, and I love that there was the foreign object involved at the end. That was basically, it happened. The little headbutt thing happened, and then that was it, right? Because he was just selling the shit out of it, and just like you said, selling the low blow all the way to the back. This is the same thing, man. Phoenix gets helped up and basically helped to the back by the other luchador that was out there at the beginning of the match. That they started off with a quick. There it is. Yeah. So, thoughts on that, man? It's like, obviously, there's a lot of high flying lucha libre style match and things like that, but we've talked about the foreign object before and how a lot of times it can be a fictitious object, right? You reach into your tights, you pull something out. Obviously, the fans know it's inside my hand right now, right? It's in my hand right now. They don't know what it is. They can't see anything. There's nothing to see, but they saw me reach into my tights and grab something, so they know it's in my hand right now. So in that, I love that it was a little bit more, visual as well.
But what was it?
You never know. It looked like a large spoon or something, right? It slides it into the mask.
Could have been it could have been a piece of kindling chipped off a logwood. You don't know, man.
Sure.
Could have been a domino. You know what I mean? It could have put a domino in there. But he did that 450 splash backflip senton thing. That was impressive. I thought, and this is just my thought, I thought it was a great match. So I'm not saying anything was wrong, but damn, that kid just made his debut like a week or two ago, and he's already on the big stage at WrestleMania. But I thought, since one of those guys really is not Chad Gable, who's wrestling under that mask. I thought they should have had Chad Gable be the replacement. That was just a little thought of mine. Maybe it was Chad Gable under the mask on that night, but good match, man. It was a good match. Way to go out there and the entrance to this guy, the way they're doing his promo where he's talking and his voice isn't matching up with what he's saying. Like I'm a grande Americano fan, man. 100%. You know, it's a good angle. It got over. They just debuted this angle, and it's already gotten over, and it got over on WrestleMania. Great entrance. I love what they did with the what was that? The bold or the fucking bronze color of his entrance. The whole package, and that's what we're talking about. Like the difference between an AEW and the difference between a WWE is how you present somebody, how you present Penta, how you present Ray Phoenix, how you present Jade Cargill, how they're going to present these guys they're bringing into NXT. The presentation is just, wow. It's just professional, man. And it was a great job. And I mean, what about, I predicted Braun Breaker, which I thought he had a great performance too. But that 4-way, damn, Dominic Mysterio, man, that might have been the pop of the night, man. They loved the fact that he won that title. And Finn Balor, I've worked with him before when he was Fergal DeWitt, and Finn Balor is that guy's good, man. He's good. I think he's banging Liv Morgan too. He's doing that, which I hear the rumors like, whoa, man, like what a G. You know what I mean? What a
the
G.
cherry on the Sunday. Hey, so I
yeah.
see, and I don't know if this is the last match from the day one, or that says New Day versus was it
Oh God. Does
the
it
Viking
matter?
Raiders?
The fans fell asleep. Hypnol pills were dropped in everybody's free soda. 60,000 free sodas they handed out, you know. But no, that one wasn't any good, man. They're kind of shitting on the New Day, like nobody really cares about them, and they're kind of not movable. And the Viking Raiders, whatever his name is, he's big and athletic, but it's like cool that you're doing all this stuff. But nobody was popping, nobody cared, and they just got Jey Uso'd out of the building. You know what I mean? So tough match to follow. Sometimes it's where you're at on the card too.
Sure.
I love the fact that Stone Cold Steve Austin, I watched a clip where he missed going onto the ramp because he was so drunk. And then he hit reverse to come back up the ramp, and he got his wheels stuck, and the staff is trying to get him out, and then he makes it up in there. And his second trip around, he runs right into the fucking railing. And I was watching the slow-mo clip of that and watching fuck LeBron James flopping, man.
No shit.
They need to sign that lady. I sent you another clip too. They're in the extra extended golf cart, and they're taking Dom through the fans. And the golf cart oh my God, but it was another, heavier set lady. It almost looked like it was the same lady. Like this, it almost looked like the same lady that took that huge delayed flop. It was the one that got smashed by the golf cart too. I'm like, she's all over the place, man. And my favorite part was Austin went up there and he was like, he didn't even wait for the response. He just kind of laughed about it. And he was like, this thing ain't moving. It ain't moving. He turned the key off and he looked over the railing, and the guy's her old man was sitting there laughing, but holding the thing. And he's like, you all right? And then he turns around and walks away. I'm like, Steve's just ready to get fucking drunk off of foam. You know what I mean? I've never drank beer like this, man. Don't ever drink beer like that. You're only going to get about a quarter of it in your mouth, man. I was a slow shotgunner, key, just slow. I wasn't even trying to do it fast. Let's do it nice and slow, one consistent motion. But Austin just quads, four-wheelers, and and golf carts just knocking heavy set ladies over at WrestleMania. I even saw a thing where they were running up this weird thing, like an escalator or something, but they're running up it, and some guys are barely making it and they're fatigued, and one heavier set guy gave up. He just took it back down. He couldn't get up. He even threw all his shit up. So hopefully one of his friends were up there to catch his stuff. But yeah, it's wild. Did you go to the WrestleMania in Santa Clara?
I did not. It was. I'm trying to think of what I was doing, but I do remember them sending me the stuff about being out on the stage with Rusev, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
Ryan McQueen ended up doing it, and Mac. Remember, Mac had to cut his hair off to do it and stuff. So yeah, that's like, I don't know, man. It's for me. It's I love to go to live pro wrestling events, but I also understand that I'm going to be able to get such a way better view sitting on my recliner, and I'm going to be able to put my feet up, fall asleep if I want. Like it's not going to be the big song and dance, man. And I remember early on, you know, people saying to me like, do you want to watch wrestling or do you want to be a wrestler? Yeah, and I think in my mind that kind of sticks with me. It's like, I would 100 times out of 100 rather sit on my couch and watch the show
For
from
sure.
the production value than go there and deal with the parking and maybe standing next to someone that I couldn't stand and someone spilling a beer on me and just all the things that I know happen at a live sporting event. And I mean, I was just talking to someone about going to a baseball game today, and they were talking about, yeah, about these $34 tickets online, and I ended up spending 100 and something dollars on two $35 tickets with all the fees and all the bullshit. I ended up spending $100. It's like, damn, man.
Insurance on the tickets, the whole
Yeah,
nine.
all types of stuff, man. So it's just, I don't know, man. And I don't know if I'm too old to want to deal with that type of stuff.
Yep.
Like I
That's
feel
what
like
it
I've
is.
I've been to Disneyland a few times, and it's just like at some point you just get, man, I'm just done dealing with people and having to, I don't know, just jump through hoops and things to get a good experience. But
That's what
you can't
that's what you're
you
saying.
can't hate on these people that do it, man.
No.
Obviously it takes money, it takes time, but for me,
Destination.
yeah, for me it's not. I'm not going to lose money to go spend money to do that, right? When I can watch this for free on my couch.
Well, I asked because it was so easy getting to the stadium when I
Right.
went, and I hadn't been to wrestling in years like that, but leaving was the mess. Because when you're
Yep.
getting to the stadium, everybody's getting to the stadium at different times.
Yep.
When you leave that motherfucker, everybody's leaving at the same time.
Right.
That's when it becomes messy. And those videos online are great, man. I'm gonna really lay down tonight and really get lost in the rabbit hole of that stuff going on. But you talked about it a couple weeks back, and I meant to say it. We're like going to these things, like, what is it going to take to get me to leave the comfort of this reclinable couch and this big 80-inch TV I have right here, surround sound? I got my fridge, I got my sodas, I got my food, I got my dogs, I got AC, I got central heating and air conditioning for all types of terrain and weather. I mean, what's it going to take to get me to get into a vehicle, drive whatever distance, wait in a line, eat shitty overpriced food, and sit in a chair that's probably going to be uncomfortable around a bunch of people that I'm uncomfortable around? It's going to be too loud. There's going to be vibrations. There's too much lights, all this stuff. Like, what is it going to take to get you out there? And we talk about that on the indie scene too, is like, what's going to get you out there? What are these guys going to have to do? What do they have to offer you as a regular person who's never been to this event to get you to leave your home to go do this? Because on the indie scene, there's not padded chairs. It's hard chairs, man. Sometimes it's wedding chairs. If you're over 250 pounds and you sit in a wedding chair, you can feel that motherfucker start to spread. You know what I mean? I've seen guys sit in those things and the whole thing collapses, and so do they.
Right.
And we know that the concession stand food on indie wrestling is not the greatest. If you're serving hot dogs, you definitely went to the get the cheapest pack of hot dogs you could, and you definitely got the cheapest pack of hot dog buns you can. Nobody's buying prime rib fucking hamburger patties already pattied out to fucking make you a delicious hamburger at the wrestling show. They're getting the box of 80 that got the little thin cardboard fucking burgers in it, and when you cook it, it just soaks down. I mean, we ate some popcorn at a show one time and we became popcorn critics. You looked over at me and you were like, oh, a little dry. And I was like, shit, a little dry, a little over salted over here. And it was like, you bite into the damn thing and you're like, am I missing a tooth? Those little pieces of the outer rim of the kernel get caught in the back of your throat and up into your mouth up here in between your teeth. And you spend the rest of the goddamn evening trying to fish those out. They don't even give you a fucking toothpick at we don't even got a toothpick option. That's what we need to do. We need to buy toothpicks to have, fuck condiments, toothpicks to have at the concession stand, because damn it, how many times, that's why I love having Larry around. Referee Larry, that motherfucker opens up his wallet. He's always got a toothpick. At 65, he knows what is going to make him comfortable. And driving all the way from Urrington, Nevada to parts of California, Larry knows I'm going to eat something. I'm going to eat some shit. I'm going to get some shit caught in my teeth. And I am not going to fiddle with that for 4 hours. It'll drive you crazy, man. I got this open one right here and I get food caught in it all the time. And I carry toothpicks around with me. And if I didn't have that toothpick, I would absolutely go crazy during the day trying to just go. Almost got it. Becomes a game. It becomes like a challenge, harder than a wrestling match to get a piece of beef jerky out of an open hole right here in your tooth. You're like, oh, maybe I could have flossed a little bit better. But yeah, what's it going to take to get you out there? What's it going to take to get you in that hard ass seat with some dipshits around you?
Right. Well, I was going to ask you, since you're fair skinned, what's the odds you're going to go out there and get sunburned? So in some of these open air stadiums too, just.
Oh, you didn't know? You didn't know? I'm half black, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a red bone. No, I'm Italian and Irish, so I have naturally tan skin. Like my skin is naturally like tans. I go stand out in the sun for I don't get red, I get tan. I get dark during the summer, and that's the one thing about the tanning bed though. I don't wear G-strings and I don't tan naked. So my lower back where my shorts stop is some white ass chicken meat for sure. White ass chicken meat. They ain't putting me in an underwear commercial, no doubt about that. For sure.
Nice. Yeah,
I'm a fair-skinned fellow.
that's what I thought. I thought you were a redhead. That's what I always thought.
I'm an
You always have
Italian
your hair.
ginger.
You always have that hair short. You just got just the scruff.
Salt and
So
pepper.
yeah, that's it, man. So yeah, I think it's gonna take. I feel like these days it's gonna take an act of God to get me out of the house, and just like you said, man, it's like I love just being able to walk into my kitchen and go into the pantry or go into the fridge and grab a snack. Come back in 2 seconds, get back to the couch to my comfy spot, and
Parmesan
eat.
pretzels.
That's it. Papa John pretzels. What else? What was the thing I was eating the one day that you're like, oh, I know if I stop at the store, I'm going to get you whatever that was.
Those
It was some
flatbread
sort of
pretzels.
pretzels, something, yeah. So, yeah,
And,
it's like if I could have that for free, yeah. I didn't even think about the food cost, all this other stuff while you're
oh boy.
in the event, standing in line, so you can get a $15 Coke. and in a $12 hot dog.
$20 tall can.
There it is.
You know what time it is, Paul?
I think I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, 5 minutes remain in this podcast. 5 minutes remain in this podcast. That's the thing, man. What's going to get you out there? What's going to make you do it? A good WrestleMania. It was a good WrestleMania. It seemed like a WrestleMania.
Right.
Felt good. Felt great. Felt right. Felt right. That's what were you just talking about? You were talking about pretzels. You were talking about snacks. Oh Lord.
Oh, it was just you were talking about I was just going to bring up, like, we talked about doing the concession review and going to the different guys that are all, at these different shows. You could get a Tom Dickinson or a Hawkdurfer or some of these other guys that go to all these shows. You can be like, hey man,
best snack bar in town, East Bay Pro. Let's throw it out there. Shout out to Maynard, man. He knows what's up. He's running consistently out of that little building, and he's made a legitimate Little League snack bar in there.
Right.
I feel reminiscent of when I'm there. I feel reminiscent of like the old Little League days when you went to get the chili cheese nachos and a ice cold Pepsi fountain drink. He's got cotton candy up in there. He's got slush puppies and snow cones and that man. But now looks like he's got a food truck out there too. So I mean, he doubling up. Dublin.
That's it, man. I always think about that. Like, I know you like to do the concession stand, make a couple $100 here and there. We like to do the food truck, so we don't have to worry about the having someone run it. I mean, this goes right back to you having people in all these different places, the concession stand, the people taking tickets, all those different things, man. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if is it worth the hassle? I feel like a lot of the time, it's like somebody's over there running this thing, and I'm not going to be making a lot of money on that. So I'm like, maybe just get a food truck to come over here and they can
$25 hamburger.
Yeah, $25 hamburger. You can get some deep fried Oreos for about $12 or $14.
That dude sold me on it. He sold me on it. I'll support you, man. I'll support you. But dude, $25 hamburger, it was pretty good. But it wasn't no $25 fucking hamburger for sure, man. But I mean, that's the thing, man. This guy's not afraid to sell you a $25 hamburger, make you do the pay square with that little. What I love is they charge you this astronomical price. And then it says on there too, tip. And you don't know what to do. You're like, oh, fuck. Do I hit none? Because I just paid 2 hours of labor at a normal job for this little hamburger? Or do I tip this guy too for his wheeling his fucking truck in here and just molesting me of all my money out of my pocket? I don't know. Yeah. We did more.
I don't know, man.
Stand up today. A little review. I think the big thing was the low blow.
The big thing was the low blow. Absolutely, man. Low blow.
Got a lot more to talk about, not today, but for you people out there, basically what we're trying to tell you is great job with the selling. The thing is, the main event, John Cena hit him with the belt, got the referee, kicked the belt out of the ring, pinned Cody 1, 2, 3. In match number 1, Gunther hit Jey Uso with the championship and went right for a cover, and Jey Uso kicked out. So at the start of WrestleMania, at the end of WrestleMania, there were 2 completely different belt cells. One laid the guy out and it was over. One was used as like a near fall or a false finish. So it was a great WrestleMania. The point coming out of this today with a lot of jokes and stuff today is like, sell it. Get it over, man. You got to get it over. The low blow. It's big. Belt shots are big. Chair shots are big. You know, a dominoes and a lucha libre wrestler's mask can knock them out and get you a big win and a big payday at WrestleMania. Close us out. Close us out, Big Paul.
Oh man, it's just I'm just so excited, man. About this is the first wrestling match I've watched in quite some time, and so I was excited and watching it with my kids. It was it was a good time, man. But as we're winding down here, I'll just let you guys know that right now, Paul Isadora, prime time, we're going over.